Here's a unified inbox, but before I go into, what the box looks like, what else can you do apart from answering chats from the unified inbox, I want to clarify something, right? So the box can be worked or in two systems, right? Most of our clients, right, is either on the ticketing system. So the box is the same. It's just how you treat them, right? So ticketing system is mainly, basically, if you look on the left-hand side here, the ticketing system is more or less like a customer service help desk, right? So when you go in here, for example, right, a customer would raise a ticket, which means the ticket gets open, an agent would be handling them. So for example, if this customer wants a refund, the agent would, process the refund, click here that the issue type is refund requested, resolution, the coupon was given, right? And then it's handled by this person. Then you close the ticket, right? This ticket will be moved from this part here, which is the open ticket box, to the closed or completed one, right? So yeah, imagine, you have a bunch of tickets and a bunch of agents handling them. What you want is for this open ticket box to be empty as fast as possible, right? So when you look here at we have an analytic page, many of our big clients, they would have this in the projector somewhere, with 20 other agents trying to get this to zero, so this is basically a dashboard. You want this to become zero, right? So that is ticketing system. So yeah, this is made for those, who is using this for customer support use case, right? However, there are alternatives to that as well. And yeah, I'm gonna give an example that's a little bit close to home. So Zaapi, for example, right? We use Zaapi for our account management. So if you subscribe to Zaapi, of course, if you are a client, right, we would assign an account executive or an AE to you, right? We would actually, have those conversations open at all times, right? Because so we can have a discussion. For example, you can be like, hey, you know what? I would recommend, you put this button right there. Can you just feedback that to your product team, right? This is not exactly an issue or a ticket, right? And we want to keep the conversation flowing for feedback, etc., right? So for us, we use the conversation, more of a conversation. We use Zaapi as a tool of integrated conversation instead of just closing tickets. So yeah, just to paint a picture here, yeah, this is so these are groups that we have with our actual clients. Yeah, that's why we have to blur their names out and blur the content out, because this is the real data that we're using, right? But yeah, just for you to get a sense of like how the same inbox can be used in both cases, right? Okay. And that is the ticket versus the conversation part, right? Okay, moving on. So circling back to the unified inbox and what you can do with the inbox, right? So if you look here, this unified inbox does unify everything, right? So we have like a Lazada here. This is a website widget, right? So a website widget, in case you don't know what a website widget is, here's what they look like, right? You can see the website from here. They will look like this. So if you have like your own website, right, you can actually click on the chat box here, in which you can create within Zaapi, and whoever talks to you via this will show up in Zaapi as well. So that's what we call a website widget, right? So email, right? It comes and goes as if it's an email. You can actually reply to an email via Zaapi itself, right? Of course, you have Facebook, you have Shopee, Lazada, right? So this is what the inbox looks like, right? You can actually assign people or an AI agent to a chat, right? When they come in, either your workflow does that, or you can throw the chat around, right? Okay, so let's go. What else can this do, right? Apart from obviously answering chats and monitoring chats from all the platform. Let's go from left to right. Yeah. Okay. All right. So on the left hand side, obviously this is very useful. People use this a lot, right? You can search for tickets, right? You go back to the tickets. You can actually filter it, right? Whether who does this ticket belong to, right? If you apply labels, you can search that by label as well, right? Integrations, right? Which channel and sub channels are they from, right? So you can search and filter, right? People do use that quite often. If you click here, right, let's go from left to right. So here, obviously, you can reply to a chat, right, a la mano, or basically you can push spacebar here, and then you can select a preset quick reply that you have set, right? We have an AI helper here where you can have an AI translate a message for you, suggest a reply, or help you draft the message, right? So this is our AI agent to help you answer message here, right? You can obviously attach a file, insert emoji. Those are the simple classic stuff. The cool stuff is here, right? This is our CRM channel, right? So for example, if you know who the customer are, right, you can put their names, their phone number, email, and shipping details in there, right? You can create a label, right, as you wish, and then just work them, right? So yeah. So here, let me get back here. Okay, yeah, you can just label a customer, right? You can link the contact as well. So this customer, for example, if he or she have spoke to your brand on Shopee and Facebook and Line, right? You can actually link these contacts together to tell the system that these are the same person, right? So so you get all the context and all the channel in one, right? There's ticket history here. So if you're working on a ticket system, right, you'll be able to see what tickets has been open, what ticket has been closed, right? So you can see right here as well what happened, right? So this is basically the ticket fields, right? And ticket history. What you can also do if it's a channel that is linked to an e-commerce platform, i.e. Shopee, Lazada, TikTok Shop, you can also see basically here the order history, right? What the customer have ordered before. So when people come to you and be like, hey, you know what, where's my order? You kind of know what they're talking about, right? You have a product list here, right, that you can send via Zaapi itself, right? You don't need to go back and forth. You can also send vouchers here. There's no voucher set here. Let me here. Okay. Yeah. So you can send voucher here as well, right? Yeah. So yeah, the other cool part is that, let me circle back to the ticketing part. So ticketing part, you know, the ticket can be very long. There can be a lot of back and forth, but once you close them, we have an AI to actually summarize, you know, your tickets here, right? So yeah, that is what our unified inbox can do. The last but not least, right, this people does use this pretty a lot as well, right? So if you're a manager, for example, right, you're overseeing a conversation assigned by one of your agents, and then you see like, oh, you know what, like I know this customer, or you know, I like this customer, just give him or her more discount. So you can be like, give more discount here. The only the agent and the team sees this, right? Customer doesn't see it. So you can do your coaching, you can do your approval, right? So if an agent says like, hey, you know what, this guy is really, really angry, can we give him a voucher? You can tag your manager and then get approval here, and everything is recorded here as well. So that's the cool part, right? A lot of people use this for internal coaching, right? So yeah, that is basically what our unified inbox can do.